Right now we're going to look at some techniques of using selective sharpening. In other words, we're not going to be sharpening the whole image. We're going to be selecting the part of the image that we want to sharpen, and let's just work on that. The first thing let's look at is an image with sky in it. Now this could be a landscape, or in this case we've got this picture of the blimp. So let's go ahead and open that up, and we'll just open it the way it normally is here. And let me go in and just close the bridge. All right, here's our image. Let's bring the image up a little bit. Well, no, I'm not going to bring it up yet. Let's talk about it for a second first. When I go in here to sharpen this image, I want to make sure that just the image itself is sharpened. I don't want my sky sharpened, because if I bring this up to 100%, there's some noise in the sky, and I don't want that sharpened. That noise could be grain, it could be pixelization, but I want my main image sharpened, but not my background image. Well, how do I do that? Well, let's see. The easiest way is just to select the foreground image, or select the image of the blimp, pop that up on a separate layer, and sharpen that, and leave the sky the way it is. Let's do that. Let's look at our whole image first. And what I want to do is I can select by color, or in this case, let's just use the magic wand tool to select our image. And I've got a tolerance on there of about 17. There's some detail down here that it looks like I'm missing. If I go in and just enlarge this, there's some of the detail that I'm missing here as far as some of these lines that are coming off the blimp. Now these are actually ropes that are used to moor the blimp, or to guide the blimp in. So what I want to do here is I want to change my selection just a little bit, so that I can make sure that I do get those, that I keep those. So let's go back to the magic wand here, and my tolerance is set at 17. What I want to do is I want to reduce that tolerance a little bit. Let's take it down to about 12. Let's deselect by hitting Command or Control D, and now let's do another selection. And you can see here that I've got more of the lines selected just by changing the tolerance. Now I'm looking around in the image here, and there's some area up in here that I want to retain in my selection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my selection tool from the magic wand to just the lasso. I'm going to hold down my Shift key so that I can add these points in the selection, and now I'm just going to go in and select all these little dots up here, because those are things I do not want sharpened. And let's come over here. Of course, if one was a bird or an airplane or something like that, then I might want to sharpen, but in this case, no. Okay. And looking down in here, okay, we're all right. Now let's just hit Command or Control 0 to bring back my whole image, and I can see that down in the corner here there's more area I want to get. So I'm just going to hold down my Shift key. I'm still in my lasso tool, and I'll select that. Now I want to jump the blimp up to another layer. I don't want to jump up the sky to another layer. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to invert my selection. The keyboard shortcut for that is Command or Control plus the Shift key and the I. And you can see now that the marching ants are just going around the blimp. They're not going around the outside. To jump that up to the next layer, to its own layer, I just hit the Command or Control J. I get a layer now with just the blimp on that layer. Now what I can do here is I can go in now and I can sharpen that blimp. And the way we're going to do that is let's use the Smart Sharpen here, because we get a nice big preview with it. Here's our blimp. And we'll go into the sharpen area. This is quite a bit of sharpening here. Actually, it's way too much sharpening, so let's bring this back down just a little bit. Bring our radius down to about maybe 1.8 or 2. There we go. Now I can increase my sharpening because I don't want to get the banding in there. Let's move this around a little bit. All right. Question is there any shadow sharpening that I want to get rid of? Well, let's fade some of the shadow up in here. So we'll do this, like in there. All right. That looks all right. And the highlights, I think, are going to be pretty much okay. So let's sharpen our image. And in just a moment, we'll see that our blimp is sharpened. Let's bring it up to 100% so that we can see that. Our blimp is sharpened, but our sky is not. So here's our before, and here's our after, and that's just a quick way of doing selective sharpening when you have a sky involved. Let's bring this back down, and we're done.